Hey, welcome back. Thank you. This is another episode of Transformational Tuesday, where we're bringing you the journey of the transformation of people investing in property, but then also what happens to them in their lives and what happened along the way as well. So I've got two awesome people that you're going to be super excited to hear about, Haps and Rima. Maybe you can give us a more in-depth introduction of you and just about yourself, just so people can get to know you before we start talking about your journey through, life and what happened and in property. So yeah, just who are you?
Awesome. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. So I'm
Gentleman.
I know. So I think he just wants to put me on the spot so he can measure up to me, isn't it? My name's Rima. So I am still working full-time at present. I'm an account manager. I've obviously been involved in property and real life, which has been an awesome experience so far. I'm a mum of a 2-year-old as well, so juggling that as well with it all, which is always a fun experience. And we're obviously going through this journey together, which is a whole different layer of a relationship, because you're not just partners, you're business together, which has been pretty cool. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
You forgot that you're an MS warrior?
Oh yeah, most important thing. I thought we'd get to that. Yeah, I also suffer with MS. So we've gone through a big journey with my health, which I'm sure will probably come into play as we sort of tell you a bit more about us. So yeah, that's massive for us, and probably a big why and a reason of why we're pushing this so full force.
Good, awesome. Yeah, I mean, if that comes up, yeah, we can definitely share that with people. I think it's very inspirational. Very inspirational story. So that's good.
So I'm Haps. Was been in property. So originally I was a marketing manager. So I've always been in marketing. Got a degree in marketing. Followed the normal route of getting a job, going up the ladder. Then obviously COVID, you might have heard of that, came into town, and I was put onto furlough, which was fine. I actually negotiated my work to stay on furlough because property started actually kicking in, and I thought, well, hold on, the longer I can stay on furlough, maybe this is going to give me time to accelerate myself. That led to redundancy, which was a win-win situation for me, which a lot of people were questioning, why are you not panicking, the rest of it. But once again, this is why we're here, and effectively being a husband to my wife and a proud father to our son. So that's a bit about myself.
Good, excellent. So yeah, I mean, so you guys are working full time, you're both in jobs, you're starting your family. Like, where did property come into it? Like, what happened in your life to be like, hey, what's this investing in property thing all about? What happened?
So we got married now, over 7 years ago?
Yeah.
And when we got married, originally we lived with my parents. That's the very Indian culture thing to do at the time. Rima was 21, I was 25. We were really young, but Rima's come from an entrepreneurial sort of a family, are really well in businesses. They've always had that mindset. Me, I've always known that I've always wanted to do something in property. Funny enough, when I was 16, my first ever CV I wrote down passion property. Didn't know what that meant, but it's something, once again, it's something I must have manifested from the age of 16, but there was something that we wanted to do. And then we got our first buy to let probably a couple of years after that. What year was that?
So that was 2014.
2014, and it went swimmingly. It just went through. We used family brokers and the rest of it. Didn't know. We were pretty much handheld through the whole process. Didn't really learn anything. We were just like, right, okay, you're landlords, and it was already tenanted. And then I suppose 18 months later, we fell pregnant, and I was like, all right, I'm not bringing up this child in this crazy household. Got to buy a place of our own, and we were just trying to look for how we can get a deposit together, and looked at the house that we obviously had rented. It wasn't making a cash flow. It was basically the rent was clear of the mortgage, and when we actually found out the value of it, we actually sold it to the tenant that was in situ, and we profited just over £80,000.
Wow, awesome.
Which that's more than enough for anyone to want to get involved in property even further, isn't it?
Yeah, that was
that first property. Like, what happened? Like, did you just say, I'm going to invest in property, I'm going to just buy literally off the shelf, already tenanted rental property? Is that what you did?
it literally pretty much was that. It was like, hey, there's this property, it's already tenanted, landlord wants to get rid of it. Do you guys want it? And it was like, yeah, why not? It's a no-brainer. I think we were making like something like ridiculous, like £50 a month from it. But hey, we were landlords. It was exciting. It was
to get on the ladder.
Yeah, it was a good little taster for £50.
But I think that the penny drop moment was £80,000 in 18 months, and it was just like a wow. But it was the scenario that we were having a child, that literally just you know, and now we obviously the house that we're in at the moment. We're quite fortunate to be here, and that was an experimental buy-to-let that's got us here, but it was always something that, you know, started our journey.
Yeah, so that, I mean, like you say, 80,000 is good enough to get anybody at least interested. But for you guys, I mean, that was a great kind of first. I mean, I can't say the first for, you know, my journey in construction and how all that was working. But yeah, that's a great step into that world. So then what happened? So okay, you experimented, now you're buying a family house. But then what happened? Where was it where it came to say, you know, we're going to start doing things bigger, better?
So we educated ourselves. We found an opportunity. So we went to the opportunity, and it seemed like a good thing at the time. We had some money that we had together, but where we knew we lacked was the knowledge and the education. And we knew that if we're going to go into property, you know, we don't want to go the rogue way because you can get stung. You know, we thought let's better educate ourselves and go forward with that. So we did spend some money and we educated ourselves in a very classroom style-esque type of learning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So you had some education, you got some information, which allowed you to get that first buy-to-let. Okay, so that's a great result for your first, you know, turnaround. So then what happened? Like, how did the journey continue from there?
I think for us, it was the recognizing as time went on that education is amazing, but it's the experience we were lacking. So it almost felt like that first process went by so smoothly, if you want to say, because we were so handheld and we just followed textbook style, that it was like, okay, so what happens next? What do we do now? And it did kind of stop for a while. So obviously with me having MS, everything slowed down, like with my health side of things. So property became a bit of a back burner, but we always knew that was going to be the outcome, and that's what we wanted to work towards. So we had a mass slowdown in that side of things. But I think it was more so like we had the knowledge, but we didn't have the mindset and the confidence at that time to push anything bigger and further.
I think also, just to sort of add to that, I think, you know, we were faced with a lot of personal challenges, a bit like what Rima said in terms of the health. You know, it got to a point where she was trialing a lot of drugs to help with the MS, because you were diagnosed in 2015 after series and series of, you know, I've got this symptom, and testing loads of stuff. And then when she was diagnosed, they basically, it's trial and error. You trial a drug, if it works, happy days. If it doesn't, you trial another one. But she started reacting very badly to some, and that was the point where it was just like, what's going on? Then on the market, it wasn't as widely available, was HSCT, which is a transplant, and the NHS were actually offering it to Rima. At that point, we then fell pregnant. Now we had to make a serious choice. Do we do Rima's treatment and let her have a transplant, or do we have a baby? And to the point where, and property was actually, you know, a journey there as well. And we actually had to sit down and write a pros and cons list about what we're doing. And it's crazy, because you'd think, well, about a baby, why would you even do a pros and cons list? And it's just at the time we had to actually, you know, where myself is like, I'd rather have a fit and healthy wife that's, you know, I wouldn't want to jeopardize it or jeopardize birth. So I think with all this going on, property was priority, you know, 3 or 4 down the pecking order.
But it's like, sorry, but like looking back now, it's like that was always our excuse. Like that was always our reason. It's not to play down the situation, because obviously the health issue is still serious, but it was like, no, we can't push further, or we can't go faster, and we can't grow bigger, because we've always got this lingering over us. So it was like property just seemed to have gone further and further and further down the priority list for us for clearly a number
Yeah.
of years, isn't
We
it?
did. We did do a lot of. We did push into. We went to. We researched on investment areas. We went down to these areas. We put in offers. We spoke to agents. We felt like as long as you're doing, something will come. But there was always something that was almost stopping, and that's probably that excuse. There was always something that never. We were probably going at around 45%. Nothing really let us push, and then there was the jobs on top of that, which never really let us go to full force on that. And then I suppose when you fast forward, obviously the decision we did make was to have the kid, even that was a challenging process because Rima's pregnant, but she's also got MS. So she needs certain care and support to make sure the pregnancy delivers correctly. I then, when Rima was 7 to 8 months pregnant, decided to fill a space in a 5-side football game at work. 10 minutes into the game, I ended up rupturing my knee, my patella. So my patella basically had detached from the tendon, and I'd have surgery within 24 hours. And this is while Rima was 8 months pregnant. So my life actually hit a very low because I think because when I came out of that, I was basically bedridden. I couldn't do anything. I've got my 8-month pregnant wife that's trying to cook for me, trying to look after me, showering me, get me to the toilet. I went through depression, and I only realized I was in depression when I got out, because my mind just did a flashback. I was like, damn, was I saying that? Was I going through that? So that was a pretty hard time, and obviously I took a long leave of work as well, which I felt guilty. I had a lot on my shoulders, my wife's health, about to have a baby, the house wasn't ready. We needed to get the nursery done, the rest of it, but yet I couldn't walk. And then to the point, the first time I ever drove was to take Rima to the hospital to have the baby.